This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 103. Tonight we've got a train running down in the studio on the layout, which is kind of fun. We've got N-scale, HO scale represented both in freight cars, diesels, and Mike's got some great trailers. And I believe Jeff Meyer brought over a lot of great wheel sets for us to talk about. A lot of variety on tonight's show. What's Neat This Week, show number 103. Let's go, guys.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. And by the Gateway St. Louis 2020 NMRA. Meet me in St. Louis, July 12th through the 18th, 2020. For more information on this, check out their website at www.gateway2020.org. And by Reynauld Euro Imports. Full steam ahead since 1904. Check out their website at reynolds.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast.
This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 103 for January 18th, 2020. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the best hobby in the world, and tonight you're going to find out why, because we've got a lot of great things on the table and a lot of great people in the room tonight. Jeff Meyer, look at that, smiling over there. He's got some really cool stuff to talk about tonight, because every time Jeff talks, it's cool. I've also got James Regier with me tonight. James, man,
hey,
that's an amazing engine you're about to talk about. I got to already see it earlier in the week, and it was really great. And Mike, Budde, everybody, there's nothing else to say except for yes, Mike lives by the golden rule, and that's why we've known him for over 25 years, and he's been one of the best friends I've ever had. Plus, Mike, if you look at the history video that I made, I think that's video 12.5. Somewhere in there, you find the history of what I've done in the hobby, and it was you, Mike, that changed my world, teaching me about discovering the way things really looked, that all freight cars aren't completely clean, that they are in fact weathered. And you taught me and showed me oil paint weathering, which in fact changed my life, because then I started showing ads for the manufacturers where everything was weathered. And that was unheard of previously. Mm-hmm. You didn't weather a brand new product, but when they're weathered, it adds to the credibility of the model. And so thank you for that. You helped my career along. So we've got a lot of neat stuff to talk about tonight, and I don't even know where to start. I will say that we did a broadcast with Jennifer Kirk, otherwise known as Jenny.
Yeah.
And she's in England, and I was honored to be on your show, Jenny. That was absolutely amazing. The compliments were nice.
Yeah, you do seem to have a fan base in England, for sure.
My home country, yes, I was born there, but I've been living here most of the years of my life. My father was in the military back in England way back when, so I wasn't even 1 year old when they flew me back to this country. And, of course, I've got dual citizenship, which is cool, but I've never needed it. But Jennifer Kirk runs a really great YouTube site on YouTube. Check it out. They cover the hobby, a lot of Hornsby, a lot of Bachmann, a lot of great models. Plus, she shows her home layout, and she brings on a lot of special guests. Essentially, Jennifer's doing the same thing that we're doing, except for she's in England and we're here. Now, you know the NMRA show is going to be in England, I think, in 2 years. Is that right? I think it's in California next year, and then the following year it'll be in England, which will be very interesting if that works out. Check the dates on that. Mike, you know what? I'm going to start off with you because you've got right in the center of the table a lot of the trailers that we covered on one episode of What's Neat, plus a lot of extra stuff. So go ahead, Mike, tell us what you got tonight.
Well, one of the good things about this hobby is making new friends and meeting new people from other cities and stuff. And then when you get to see them a couple times a year, it's always fun catching up. But I've gotten to know a few people in Chicago this way. Tom Klimczak and John Tyson, for one, the vehicle guy. And then a couple of other guys are Kevin Nieheisel and Ray Van Dersen, and they're both in the Chicago metro area. But Kevin's specialty is trailers, and so we kind of got into this little swapping thing where we'll do stuff for each other. And those 3 trailers up in front there are Kevin's work, and I'm really honored to have that in my my collection. So the Katy trailers are both. Well, they're both. The red one is actually an Athearn trailer. Then the other 2 are Trainworks. But he did all 3 of them faded, just the way he does it in like patches
They're so
on the
nicely
roofs,
faded too. Yeah.
does the tires really well, and makes rims different colors and stuff. And so he got me kind of fired up to work on trailers. So I got a few of my other ones out that I had, and I've been doing that this week, just weathering a few of them. Those ones on the left side there, those are ones that I modified from a UPS trailer and cast them in resin. So I
Those
have
look
like
nice.
Penn Central and Rock Island, and then the over on the right side in the back, the Mopac trailer is one that I kit bashed from 2 Quality Craft trailers to make the drop frame part of it. So anyway, that's the
Very well done.
main thing I've been working on over the last week or so. And I wanted to give a shout out to Daniel too, because he wanted me to say, make sure that they know I'm still part of the show, and because he's so busy with all his stuff going on, just graduating and looking for a job. He said he was.
I think he got a job this week.
He did get a job at
Cool.
well,
It's a Buick
At
dealership.
the Buick
Oh,
dealership.
nice.
Yes, yeah. Blue Fuse.
Awesome.
Nice.
Great. Well, he's supposed to be here at 9:20 tonight, so we'll probably. He's not going to get on this podcast, but he's definitely part of the show, man. He's definitely got a fan base of his own.
Well, he might make a walk-on appearance like last week.
Yeah, right.
That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah.
In a cold snowstorm, we let him in.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's cold.
Those guys
Daniel's
love
cold. Let him in.
Oh my God! How about last night? I mean, we had ice. I had 3-inch icicles hanging off all the dioramas
Yeah.
out there, and then today we had 40-mile-an-hour winds while I was out shooting the models. And I'll tell you what I was shooting today. I shot these beautiful N-scale boxcars from Intermountain. These are brand new. You know, Intermountain's got a brand new factory, and they're really cranking out some absolutely gorgeous, very prototypical looking models in N-scale. And these are the brand new N-scale 50-foot Gunderson boxcars. These are double-door boxcars. The same cars that we showed in HO scale 2 shows ago, but these are N. The
Right.
first one that I photographed outside, and the wind blew these over a couple of times, but I was very patient. Union Pacific double-door boxcar in the beautiful UP yellow with the big herald on it. We've also got the Denver Rio Grande Western. That was a really nice car to shoot. That yellow really popped in the sunlight. Plus, I've also got a Burlington Northern in green. That was a neat car with a great big BN on it. That looked really good out there. Plus, the last one I've got was a Hydra Cushion Southern Pacific N-scale boxcar. These things roll great. I know that because we just built a new N-scale layout in the basement, and I was test rolling them a little bit earlier in the night.
Yeah.
Also from Intermountain, while I'm on the subject, we've got something here, and James, you knew about these. These are these grain cars. These are 4785 cubic foot covered hoppers.
Right.
And they've got the long doors on top. What are those doors called?
Those are the grain trough doors that just flip them open, load grain.
Trough hatches. You pointed
Trough
that
hatches.
out in the previous
Yeah.
show with the N-scale cars.
Well, they
which I
also
really
have round
appreciate.
hatches too. Some of the
Right.
models do.
Some of the models,
Right.
but
It depends on what the railroad ordered.
yeah,
But the models we've got on the table from Intermountain tonight
these are the Pullman standards.
the Staley Manufacturing Company, A.E. Staley Manufacturing Company.
They
We were-
make starches and sweeteners.
That's what
Yeah.
we were
Look it
talking
up.
about tonight. When we
Yeah.
were putting them on the table, we were getting a lesson in what they manufactured. We've also got this beautiful yellow Milwaukee Road car, America's resourceful railroad. That thing looked great out in sunlight today.
Oh, yeah.
And the
I
last
can
one
imagine.
I've got is called, on the side of the box, it said Conrail Large Red. That's the Conrail
Has a nice
car
can
here.
opener on there.
Jeff Meyer, that's the kind of car I think your son would really appreciate.
That's right.
Because I know what a big Conrail fan Connor is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thank
that-
you very much, Intermountain, for these beautiful freight cars that we get to look at, and we're going to run them on the new N-scale layout that we just built.
All right.
Rock and roll. Jeff Meyer, welcome to the show tonight. Tell me, brother, what have you brought? You got some neat stuff
actually
on the
brought a
table.
few things. First off, this is a Walters, one of their newer, I think it's a National Steel car, covered hopper. But the decal on the side, it's a full-on graffiti decal from Circus City. And it like I said, it's one whole entire decal. You just
The
slide
whole
it
car
on.
side.
Yeah.
And it
That
actually
looks cool.
very minimal trimming. I measured it, and I knew what it would fit, and it all went on. I put on a lot of coats of microsol and that to get it to
Did it
settle
start
down.
to get all shriveled up and everything? And
Not too bad,
Really?
but to get it to over the weld seams, you know,
Right.
you kind of got to run the Q-tip across it
Yeah.
and all that, and a few other
Sure.
things. But it's actually, most people that kind of know me well, I'm more an 80s modeler, but my oldest boy, he's gotten me into the newer current day stuff. And actually,
Right.
there's a lot of neat stuff out there. The
Oh,
graffiti,
yeah.
and you
Oh,
just-
there is, yeah.
Some
Right.
of the older box cars, the rail boxes, how rusted they are. So it's kind of just added a new dimension to what I do.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
kind of makes it more interesting, doing something different for a change.
Right.
Yep. And then this is it's not brand new, but that's a Tangent 8,000 gallon acid tank car. But what I did is, for those that are kind of more into getting real crazy with details, it's got a Yarmouth Model Works new sill steps. If you can kind of see, they're not painted yet. They're still shiny metal. They're etched metal sill steps. They're
Oh, wow.
super fine. You have
Yeah.
to see it up close. Maybe Doug's getting some good footage of it, but hopefully I installed them correctly. But they do look good. I just got to get them home and paint them.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, Tangent about 2 weeks ago announced that they're doing, I had to make notes because there's so much stuff about it, but that they came out with 100-ton Barber S2 roller bearing trucks, and they actually have the real rotating bearing caps,
Nice.
like
Yeah.
some of the Kato and Athearn ones that
Yeah,
everybody's probably
yeah.
aware of. But these, they are really, really nice. They've got... everything is actually the embossing. I've yet to actually get out like the magnifying glass and read, but you can actually see the embossing on the truck side frames and
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, man.
And I believe they said they went to ASF Foundries in Granite City, right up
Right.
the road here in St. Louis,
Yeah.
and measured them and took photographs and everything. And when you buy them, I believe they're all coming basically standard on all their new hoppers they release. But you can also buy them separately. They come in the normal tread, the 110 code, standard tread. They also come in semi-scale, code 88, just blackened wheels. And they also do the nickel-plated ones, which you can see how shiny they are. So when you weather them, it still has the shiny,
Right.
realistic tread on them.
Wow.
And they also, now if you're really geeking out on freight car trucks, they come
Right.
with 3 different style rotating bearing caps.
Right.
Yeah, I
noticed
saw that they have.
Yeah.
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 I believe it's Timken, Brenco 6, and Brenco 3. They're
Wow.
all slightly different, so they're not just the generic looking.
One's like a triangle,
Yeah,
one's like a
yeah.
hexagon.
Yeah, one's
and-
like a
I
hexagon.
feel
Exactly.
Yeah.
like I'm
So,
going to have to go back to school on some of this stuff because
I thought I knew a little bit about freight car trucks,
Yeah.
and they announced these.
Yeah.
I'm learning
Yeah.
more. So
It reminds me of the Ed Hawkins, Pat Wider Railroad Encyclopedia books that they came out with, where they would
Right.
teach us.
Oh yeah.
right.
Henderson, that was another great name in the past, where they would teach us all this detail that we didn't know we wanted to
yeah.
know.
You think you
Right.
know, and you have
Yeah.
no idea. But
It was amazing.
And I already noticed on some freight cars, they are mismatched with different style rotating bearing caps, maybe even on the same truck or whatever.
Now, why would they get a detail like that wrong on the prototype? I mean, come
Right,
on.
exactly. So, and they also they sell the or you can replace them, because I believe all the ones from the factory that you buy will come with the 110 wheels, but you can buy aftermarket the Code 88 semi-scale if that's what you want to run, and they also sell the different bearing caps and all that. So, and just one more thing. Not all his wheels have it, I think, but these, they also, the backs of the actual wheels have the correct contour. It's not
Wow.
just, there's
Just flat.
a lot
Yeah.
of the companies, it's just straight flat.
Right.
I realize most people aren't going to notice that, but
Yeah.
I'm a freight
Every
car
little
guy,
bit helps,
so
man.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like that kind of detail.
And it's just amazing, now that everyone's taking shots with their cell phones and stuff like that, close up of the
Yep.
locomotives, just how much detail
Yeah.
now shows up that
Right.
you'd never even think to look at.
Right.
Yep.
Like,
Especially if you
that's
got
not-
low sunlight
yeah.
or something, it'll show
Right.
up.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I want to say get well to Ray Plashewski from Reynauld up in Chicago. He's kind of been ill for the last 4 days, and he's just getting over the hump. Rock and roll. I know you feel better. I talked to you on the phone today, and he wanted us to talk about and point out a brand new, beautiful 4014 Big Boy from Trix. This, as you know, Trix and Markland now are the same company, and this is an absolutely fantastic locomotive. He said the thing weighs almost 6 pounds. I've got some photographs here to share with you guys of this beautiful model. This thing comes with DCC and full functioning sound. I mean, it is just absolutely gorgeous with LED headlights. It is just...
Has the correct oil tender, I'm noticing.
It does have the correct oil tender. That is right. It is so different than other models that we've seen in the past. But this thing is a brute, and it's extensively detailed. And if you order one of these from the Reynauld website and you enter the words "What's Neat," you will get a special discount on this locomotive up and above on the sale price that's already listed on the website. So Ray just wants to take care of us because he thinks what it is that we're doing for the hobby is very good for the hobby, and he wants to see us succeed at it. But thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Ray.
And you know, the neat thing about Reynauld's, just looking at their website, they bring in stuff that you just don't really see elsewhere. This side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Bicycles and motorcycles.
Motorcycles. There's an indoor GPS system that will be experimenting with eventually.
I've heard about that.
Just all these different layout technologies and detail designs that aren't available here. And in fact, Ray's going to be going to Germany to Nuremberg to a toy convention.
That's where a lot of their stuff comes from.
Big
Europe.
Nuremberg show, every year, biggest show in the world.
And he's going to be doing correspondence work for us.
He is going to he's going to cover the show for us there, so that he's actually invited me to fly out there with him.
Wow!
But honestly, I just don't know that I can work it out in my time. One last thing I want to say about this Trix Big Boy is it comes in a very special wooden box. This is definitely a collector's piece. If you're looking to purchase and give a gift to that very special model railroader in your life, this is the one where you're definitely going to be appreciated. This is a work of art. They've thought it through from the ground up, and that's generally how the Europeans do things. They're very thorough about making things great. Great presentation, beautiful model. Check it out at Renaulds.com. And thank you very much, Ray, and Brittany for promoting and helping us with the show. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that tonight.
Sure.
Go ahead. Take it over, James, because I know you've got something that's very special that you've worked on, this Kato locomotive.
Yeah, so one of our viewers, and actually was a visitor in Ken's basement here several months ago, Brad McEwen, local here in St. Louis, asked me to do Amtrak P42 for him from Kato. And so I installed TCS WOW sound in it. There are 8 independently controllable lighting functions. I guess two are technically the ditch lights, but they flash linked to the bell, just like on the prototype. And it's all set up and ready to go. It runs very smoothly. Now I also added, because Kato didn't have these details installed initially, I got some mirrors and some windshield wipers from KV Models on eBay. They have a lot of nice they have a lot of nice photo etched stainless steel parts, which are even more durable than brass. And so I've been using those for a lot of my models as well.
You said you were going to do that. Did you put mirrors on it too?
Yes, there are mirrors. There are windshield wipers. Well, we'll get a couple close-up shots of it.
I had one of those, and those coreless motors, they pull a ton. The motors are located in the trucks, and we showed those off one time on a What's Neat show, and I was very impressed with the technological advances on that.
Yeah, no,
has Kato done that to anything else?
That's the only one on the North American market that I am aware of. I don't know about their international market. In fact, initially when I was making my trolley, I thought maybe I could put it onto one of those trucks because it has that coreless motor in it and it would run independently. But it turned out it was just a little bit too tall for those needs when I was researching that. But it runs very smooth and it does pull a lot. I don't know if any of the cameras are catching this train that is running around the layout.
There is a train running down here tonight, somewhere down here. We'll get to see that coming by here very soon.
It's a fairly lengthy tank train, and Ken has 3 or 4 locomotives locomotives on it, and this Amtrak locomotive pulled it solo for about
Ran
an
it all
hour.
by itself. I remember Kato ran a video where that locomotive was pulling a bunch of bricks on flat cars for real.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like it was on the website on the internet somewhere.
Is
out
there a lot of extra room inside of there since the motors are in the trucks?
Well,
Do
not,
they use that
they,
for
they
weight?
filled it with weight. They
Okay.
filled it with weight. That thing comes in at about 23, 24 ounces.
It's amazing.
So it's a
Yeah.
heavy locomotive, and it has the pulling power. But it also has speaker spaces for 8mm
Right.
speakers.
Right.
Now I put an iPhone 7 speaker in there, so it's that's what's giving it its sound. Just because you for the size, you just really can't beat those iPhones or those
Yeah.
cell phone speakers. You know,
Right.
those
That's
little sugar
cool,
cubes.
man.
Yeah.
I want to thank very much Doug Howell for running camera for us this evening. Doug is generally What's Neat Security down here, but tonight
Bouncer.
he's doing a great
That's
job.
right.
And here comes that train, Doug, that we're talking about. We're
Yeah,
actually running a
exactly.
train down here for the very first time since the Kevin Rubel interview that we did a time back. And tell me, that is those are Athearn units running right
Those
there.
are Athearn units running right there, yes.
That beautiful GO rail. I love that. They're not lit up over there. That's the dark side of the moon right now because we got all the lights pointing over here. I wanted to say that, though, the NMRA show for the 2020, they called me up this week. And, guys, every time we talk about the NMRA show on this podcast, you guys have gone to their website and have absolutely overwhelmed them with registrations. So what we're doing is working. And that's a good thing because going to that show, the registrants all get to be involved in, if you're a member of the NMRA, your models actually get voted on and are critiqued with regards to NMRA rules. But you don't have to be an NMRA member to go to the show. And that is the show that happens at the hotel for the week
Sure.
previous to the 2-day train show, which is held at Cervantes Convention Center. I believe that's where they're going to hold it this year. And it's going to be great. I've talked to the folks in Chattanooga, and I think we're going to get our stage so we can broadcast the What's Neat show from the NMRA, National Model Railroad Association show, similarly to what we did at Train Fest. So I'm looking forward to that, and I wanted to bring that up tonight. James, we got to go to an NMRA meeting on Tuesday, of which you're going to learn more about your job now, which is selling the lanyards, the bags, and all the advertising that will be in the timetable.
Right.
So look forward to you doing that. I've spent this week, I'm going to talk about this, building a trade show for Athearn, which will be on display for the very first time at Springfield. I believe it's Springfield, Massachusetts. They have
Yeah.
a great big show out there on the East Coast. And this is a trade show display that encompasses both N-scale and HO scale models in it. It's fully lit with LED lights on top to light the models. And I've taken great pride. In fact, I didn't even turn on my computer for 4 days this week while I've been working
Right.
diligently to build this display, which
Yeah,
I've
the
been following
basement-
directions.
The basement was filled with sawdust when I came here Thursday night, and the smell of black polyurethane.
That's the smell
Yeah,
of progress.
I can smell that tonight.
One thing you said about the Kato engine was around 27 ounces, and that's a number that's in my mind because the What's Neat show over at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine now has over 27,651 views the last
wow.
time I checked. So thank you very much. We're back on our game, and that's what happens when you put how-tos into the videos. People are receptive to them, and they really like them. Thank you very much for that. Denny Yelsma from Yelsma's Graphic. As you look
Yeah.
around the room down here, we've got a lot of shirts and jackets, and I love my What's Neat This Week jacket, and so does Joshua Barton. But Denny wanted me to do two things tonight. First of all, he wanted me to bring up the fact that if you have a club, a model railroad club, that he would be more than happy to make custom graphics specifically with your club's logo on it for you so that you could wear your club's logo proudly and display that off.
And in fact, the turnaround time for that is really quick. I mean, we got this What's Neat boxcar for this year.
Oh, yeah.
1 week, and like a week later, this jacket shows up in the mail.
I love that.
that
with the boxcar on
that
it.
Denny Yelsma had put that boxcar on the jacket.
And this is not printed. This is all embroidered. This is stitched. So the threads and the stitching is absolutely beautiful. It's a work of art. And something else that we're going to do now, you remember last week on the show, we got hooked up with Lionel Strang, and Lionel suggested that we come up with a way to give away free stuff because people like free stuff.
Right. Who
Or-
doesn't?
Or as Chris Palomares calls it,
Swag.
swag.
Stuff we all get.
Rock and roll. So
Yeah.
that worked out really well. Lionel gave away, I think, 3 T-shirts last week. to the first, second, third, and possibly the fourth person that did say something on the YouTube comments. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. Tonight, Danny Yelsma is going to give away 2 blue What's Neat This Week baseball caps to the first 2 people on YouTube comments. As soon as this video is uploaded onto the internet, which could be Sunday night, it could be Monday, I'm not sure how it's going to work out time-wise, but the fact is, as soon as your bell goes ding, all the subscribers get notification that the new What's Neat This Week video is out. If you mention the fact Yelsma Graphics in readers' comments, the first 2 people that do that, Denny will get your address and send you a What's Neat This Week.
Do they have to spell it correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you do or not. I
Yes,
mean, I'm
it's the
personally,
guy's
I'm
name.
not that great
Yes.
at spelling.
Yeah,
And
JELSMA.
Right.
Jay?
check out their website. They've got every railroad logo you can imagine on the website. It's all stitched. It's all beautiful. I've gone through it and looked at all these beautiful things that Denny offers. And he does very well at trade shows, but he's done also very well with, so far, what we've discussed on this show, just sharing the creativity that he has to offer to the hobbyists out there for the best hobby in the world. There's no better way to promote your hobby than to wear it proud. And that's what Denny does. He enables us to do that. So thank you very much for what you do for the What's Neat show. We really appreciate it. And I guess a couple people are going to get free hats this week.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get
Those are
much
nice
better than that.
hats, too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the list here. The only thing that we haven't talked about that I do want to bring up is the train that's running around the basement, and the displays that I built for Athern are all powered with the NCE power system. I actually worked what's it called? The power
cab, yeah.
I worked that into the system over there for Chris Palomero.
It's built into the table, isn't it?
When he sets up over there, he can actually run the trains and make... There's 11 tracks on the HO scale part of it where he can have 11 different models doing their special effects with lighting and sound. And with the NCE system, he can control all 11 of those independently, set them up to do what he wants them to do. That's the way I designed it, and that's the way it'll work. So it's a really great system. I say it all the time. I never get tired of saying it because, look, guys, a train's running down here perfect. And when you're doing a show and you're running a train, that's generally a no-no. But rock and roll, man.
And, you know, I got to say, it's pretty frustration-free as well.
The only last thing I've got on my list, and I don't know, guys, if you got other things that we have going on, was I did do a photo shoot this week right before the ice storm that we had last night. And I believe tomorrow it's going down to 8 degrees. So here comes winter one more time.
Yeah.
But I shot these beautiful locomotives outside for Athern trains, and I shot an SD70M with flared radiators on it. I can show you the picture of that. And I also shot an SD45-2. That's a Conrail, which if you look at the fuel tank on this Conrail, as Jeff Meyer pointed out to me earlier in the night, that's an ex-Erie Lackawanna because it's got the very larger fuel tank.
Yeah, you can also see the horn configuration is the low profile for those eastern lines.
It's amazing how model specific that these companies are getting. And the last model I've got is one that Daniel Coombs really wants, and that's this United Way SD40-2. That's an ex-Union Pacific. It is Union Pacific with a long nose on it, isn't it?
Yeah. I had that in my consist one time.
But I shot these outside on the diorama that I usually do videography on. So it's a 12-foot long module that I set up outside on the beautiful sunny day that we had. But I also mixed it up a little bit and mixed some trees in the background and a couple of different types of grain elevators for every shot. Again, varying the scenery, stacking the scenery, and layering the scenery. That's the key, I think, to all the folks out there that want to shoot their models outside and enter the photo contests for the NMRA or for the various magazines that have contests. It's easier to simply layer your scenery, build simple, small dioramas, and then stack them up behind each other. I find it to be very quick, very simple, rather than build one module that is only good for one photograph, and then that's it. That's all you can use it for. I remember that switchyard you built. That was great. The versatility of that. And the ballast on that was really nice, too. Tell me, what ballast did you use?
Was it Highball?
Yes, it was.
I think it was. Yeah, I forget now, but yeah, it's the real rock stuff. I don't know.
Nothing beats
I
real
prefer
rock.
that. Yeah.
It doesn't
Right.
stick to the sides of the
It is-
rails like some other things
Right.
do.
No, you just
True
brush it
that.
off. It's
That's
good.
that's what Chris yells at me all the time about is
Yeah.
the ballast stuck to the side of my rail. I know.
Oh man.
I know it's a signature of a lot of my Athearn photos, but you just look at it and the models look so great, you don't worry about it. I think that's everything on my list, guys. Is
How
there
about
anything else?
our pals down there in Australia?
Oh yes, we found the koala bear. Here she is,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Our hearts go out to you guys down there. And I heard there's lots of rain. Now they're having floods. I don't know if it's helping
Just
with the
getting it
fires
from
or
both
not.
ends.
Yeah.
I hear it is helping somewhat with the fires.
Yeah.
But that's
Well, hang in there, guys.
Definitely.
Mike, people love you, man. You live by the golden rule. Thank you
Man,
very
I
much
think
for being
about all
our
those
friends.
animals, man. I just think about
Oh,
those
yeah.
kangaroos and
those poor
man,
koalas as
yeah,
well, man.
I know. God.
Guys, this is the best hobby in the world, put on by some of the best friends and the best people I know in it. I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing on a Saturday night than sitting here sharing the hobby. And that's what we always have done. We hung out, we get together. When we had the Midwest Valley Modelers Club, Mike, we
Yeah.
would sit down here and we'd just simply talk about our models. Jeff would bring over things and show it off. The only difference is we've got Doug Howell running cameras and
Right.
we've turned it into something thank you
Yes.
to the advent of YouTube. So
Right.
the best hobby in the world. We really love sharing it with all of you. If you've got anything that you'd like to contribute, please do so on our What's Neat This Week Facebook page. And also on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so that you get notification for when the videos come out.
And even if you're not in the first four for Denny Yelsma, go ahead and make your comment, ask your questions.
Yeah.
We're happy to interact with you guys and talk with you. We're all rail fans. We're in this together.
Rock
Thanks
and
for the
roll.
nice tribute too, Ken, at the beginning of the show. Man, it's been a good at least 25 years. Man, we've learned a lot from each other. It's been a long time, man.
Best people in the world, best hobby in the world, guys. Show number 103. Let's go run some trains.
All right.